Come here, Lizzie. Okay, so I've gone through all of my video. Okay, so I've gone through all of my video and I can't find any. I have all kinds of video on mouthing, but it's always in small sections when I'm videotaping for another family. So what I was going to do here today is just put everybody. So I'm going to talk about a bit of mouthing, and this is Blaze, and he's 4 months old, and he's biting my arm. Hey, that's enough. Don't bite. No biting. So at 4 months of age, he's pretty much figured out that he's not supposed to bite. I mean, he still tries it because he's a puppy, and that's what puppies do. Puppies mouth for more than one reason. One of it's because that's how they play with their litter mates. One is to show that they want something, or they're trying to act a little bit dominant, so they're going to use their mouth to see if they can get away with something. And if a dog is biting your hand and you're pulling away because he's chewing on you, he's following that and he's using that as a target to move forward. So basically you need to leave your hand where it is, and I know that's hard when you've got it, and no bite. I need to put your language, no bite, together. And I found sound works much better than using a lot of language. It just redirects. So, let me see. First thing I do when I bring a puppy into my house is I roll him over. And he's a pretty big puppy to roll over, but this is what I do. And we're going to play with his feet, right? Because he don't like that too much. Blowing up the nose, making sounds when you're doing that. Good boy. Rewarding him for good behavior. So we're going to massage a little bit. You could give a little toy here. You could play toy while you were doing this. We want this to be a fun experience, but we also want him to understand that mouthing is not acceptable. So that's why, like I said, I'm going to play with his feet a little bit, and he's going to say, no, I don't really like to be played. So I'll bite my own foot instead of you. That's okay, leave it. Good boy. And then we're going to handle this one. And the handling of your dog is extremely important simply because if it ever has anything, a thorn or a cut on its paw, somebody wants to take a look at it. If you haven't handled your dog appropriately, even when you take it to the groomers, if you haven't handled your dog appropriately, then it doesn't like to be handled. And as they get older, it sets them up for some very poor habits. So, he can handle his tail here. He's fine with that. And this too. Yes, we've got all the feet done. We got this. We can turn him around. We're going to turn him around a little bit. Yes, you're a little biggie, aren't you? You're a biggie boy. My biggie boy. Here we go. Turn around. There we go. So, ears here. Pull the ears. But at the same time, I'm holding his different parts. I'm also petting him. I'm also massaging him. And I'm also working with the parts of his body. So if he was going to bite, it would be, no bite. Well, that's the first thing. And then from there you go on to grooming, right? So you could use a brush. So let's get the brush out and the comb. And we'll start a bit. And then I'll move on to other things that'll work. So here's my little comb I've got here. I do have some treats too. And different puppies, every puppy is slightly different, like every child. And children also bring a huge difference into where the dog's energy's at and how they're being played with. So here's my comb. I'm going to show it to him. See, that's the comb. Yes, it is. And we're going to start combing. We're going to give him a little comb. Comb him out. Right? That's a good boy. Oh, what a good puppy. What a good boy. What a good boy, hey? So if he was to mouth this too, and if he starts getting a little anxious when you're doing things like that, you would stop for a second, okay? Just stop, wait, regroup, go back to massaging if you're doing the belly thing. And I always encourage people when they have puppies to, put them on their lap, and it's a quiet time. Use that time to interact with your puppy. Every experience you have with your dog is an ability to interact and work with that puppy. So, mouthing isn't 5 minutes here and then we're going to give it away for the day. Mouthing is every single time something happens, you're addressing that without being frustrated, without getting angry, and you're dealing with it though effectively. No bite. Different language that's very strong and gives you that assertive nature without actually taking the puppy and being, too hard on him, because truthfully, we don't want that either. We don't want to set him up to be aggressive. So, relaxed nature makes a relaxed natured puppy. And that's a little different, like I said, when you have children. There we go. What a good boy. What a good boy. Oh, such a good puppy. Oh, he's going to give me a kiss. So now if he was chewing on my hand here, and you see he's kissing because that's what I've changed him to do. But if he's choosing, it would be no bite, and then kisses. So if he's chew, 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 No bite, kiss, kiss, good boy. So you might take the hand away for a minute when he was chewing on it, then give it back and get him to kiss it. Because we want kisses. We want kissing. Oh, it's kissy boy. Yes, you kissy, kissy. Good boy. So that would be it, okay? So, like I said, it's difficult when you don't have a puppy biting you all the time. But that's okay. So one of the other things that you can do with your puppy is children and chasing them when they're, and biting at their pant legs. So this one here, I use a long toy. Come here, honey. What's I got here? What do I have? Oh, what's this? And this is just something that I just made up this morning. Out. Leave it. Good boy. That's a good boy. Good boy. That's a good boy. Good boy. Okay. What's this? Hey, what's it? Hey, oh, I have to take it. So now, if I was a kid and I'm running, here I am. Here I'm running. He's chasing the stick. Now, if he was to bite at my pant legs, I would freeze instantly. Address the puppy, no bite. And then offer the toy again and say, okay, let's go. Because this way you're giving the puppy a target so the kids can run and play with puppy. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. But they're not actually running and playing, they're not biting at a pant leg. It gives them a direction to follow. And like I said, you might have to use a leash if you're the adult with your child and put the dog on a leash. So as soon as it starts, you can kind of give it a little bit of a tug and it'll stop. It's like, no. Good boy. Okay, let's go. What's it? Take what have you got? Take what have you got? What have you got? Take that toy. Take it, buddy. Take it. So this is where I would teach take it. And out is important. Good boy. Out. Good boy. So that's the other one. Running. Kids are chasing. Puppies getting really excited. And there's time for time outs too. If the puppy just won't settle down, then you need to remove the puppy or the children from the situation. And truly, children and dogs need to be supervised when they're together, especially when they're little, because that's the only way you're going to correct bad behavior from a dog or from a child. Because, you know, if you're not watching them, you don't know exactly what they're doing. Hey, buddy, huh? What's this, eh? Come here. Come here. Oh, it's a good boy. Oh, it's a good boy. The other thing is they're teething, so they need lots of stuff to chew on. A nice hard ball they can chew on, play with. What's this? What's this, hey? It's a pretty big ball for you, isn't it? Hey. But it's big enough that he can get that in his mouth and chew on it. Hey, what you got? What's that? Is that nice? Out. Blaze, good boy. What's that? There we go. So chew toys are good. You know, you want to give him options for lots of chew toys. Make sure when you're certain toys, you don't give them if you're not supervising. I don't use stuffies because I find they can pull the stuffing out and they can naturally, that can be a choking hazard. But these things got little ropes in them sort of, so if even if they chew a little bit off of it, it's not going to hurt them too much. And it's a good way for them to get those teeth into something and really give it a good bite, because that's what they want to do. If they're chewing furniture, if they're chewing stuff like that, a little bit of hot sauce, you can buy that bitter apple you can spray. Other things you can do there. I'm just trying to go through everything I do. But those are the few things that you can do. There is one thing you can do. Hey, I don't recommend it in little puppies. I think there's better alternatives by just working with your puppy and constantly. Something called the lip pinch. Lip pinch. And it's where when the puppy just won't let go or won't stop biting, where you push down very hard. You get your 2 fingers in here like this, and you push really hard over those back molars. Puppy's going to make a real squeal, and it's going to hurt a little bit, and it should. If you're going to do it, it has to mean something, because you can't continually repeat it. It's a one-shot dealy thing, and while you're doing that, you're going to be saying something like out, leave it, noise of some kind. So the next time he uses his mouth, you can use the sound instead of doing the action, so he can relate that that sound means I'm not allowed to bite. That one works, and I would try that on a puppy, say that's around 3.5, 4 months old, that still is biting constantly and you just can't get it under control. Like I said, that would be one that I would try at that. I wouldn't try it earlier because, like I said, I would prefer to roll the puppy over and constantly handle those different body parts. And every time he opens his mouth, no, leave it. If he's getting really flaily when he's rolled over on his back, then I just stop, go back to massaging a little bit, and wait for him to settle down again before I start again with the handling. And I keep them fairly short. We don't want them really long. And do them a couple of times a day. It's just being very consistent And when you have young children or children, it's just something that puppies do with kids a lot. They do it with adults too, but they're a little more apt to get away with it with the child, and the kids scream. If the kids pull back when the dog is jumping forward, the dog will move into them. If your child moves forward into the dog, then the dog will move away. That's kind of, you know, the rule of the game. So those are the other things you want to keep in mind when you're dealing with a puppy, is that every time you move your hand away, the dog follows. Every time you move your body away from the dog, he's going to move into you. You need to claim your space and move into them, and your children need to do the same thing, and you can help them with that by standing in front of them, and when the puppy goes to jump on them, walk them into the puppy so they move back. Or if the puppy goes to jump up on them, they can jump back. Say the word sit and have the puppy sit. He gets a treat at that point. The other thing you can do is if he's mouthing a lot, you can use a treat. So here's me playing with this paw. Treat's over here. Good boy, good boy. Okay, so, you know, so he gets the picture that if I don't mouth and I don't bite this hand, I'm going to get a treat for it. I hope that helps. If anybody's got any questions, call me, because it's an individual thing. Everybody has a little bit of a different issue going on here. And unfortunately, it's not that easy when you've got a 4.5-month-old puppy and he's already kind of gotten over the mouthing part.